guys, it's Jamie Grace and welcome to today's video. I want to do a special video all about Tourette syndrome, and I'm going to try to answer questions as fast as I can and try to answer as many as I can. When I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, and a few years later, also ADHD, OCD, and anxiety. And a few years later, I started to make YouTube videos all about it, which kind of was a part of the start of my YouTube channel. And recently, I was on the doctors for a second time. I got to just go and be a part of an incredible story. The link is in the bio down below, the description down below. But I didn't realize until I posted on Instagram that a lot of people didn't know I had Tourette. A lot of people don't even know what it is, and I'm honored to answer questions at any time. Also, before I do this, make sure you know that if you want to know any more about my story or inspiring stories, you can always listen to my podcast called I'm a Fighter. It's a free download. Just go to imafighter.org. So what is Tourette syndrome? Tourette syndrome is a neurobiological, essentially meaning brain. So it's a brain condition that causes movements and sounds called tics. Now, you don't usually see me tick because we'll get into that later, but usually when I talk about it, I start to fidget and I start to tick and to twitch a lot more than normal, my normal. And so it's fine. Like, I'm used to it. I'm 26 almost. And so I've had symptoms since I was 9 years old. So it just happens when I talk about it. I twitch more. Okay, so let's jump into some of these questions. Oh my goodness, there are 205 comments. I don't think that I'm gonna get to all of them. Okay, so the first question from Zoe Grace: when did you find out you were diagnosed with Tourette syndrome and how did you react? I was diagnosed at 11 years old. I was relieved because I was like, finally we have an answer. My mom was actually the one that figured out what it was, took it to my neurologist. So I was very relieved that we finally figured out what it was. But then when I figured out that there was no cure and that like people picked on it a lot and like it was like kind of the punchline of jokes like for a lot of movies and TV shows, I was really disappointed and I went through a really rough time trying to figure that out from there. How do you keep from having outbursts? Well, for the most part, the times where it would be really bad would be like, say, like at a concert, and when I sing, it's like a freedom, like it's like therapy for me. So that's fine. If I do have like I can usually kind of feel the tics coming on. I usually know what's I usually know what's about to happen. I know that I'm about to twitch, tick rather, whatever you want to call it. So I usually know what's coming, and I can usually kind of, you know, move a lot, dance a lot, sing a lot to kind of help myself not freak out. Or I also wear a mouthpiece that we're going to talk about a little bit later that helps a lot now these days. And that question was from God Family Fitness. Those are 3 great things to focus on. Cupcake Funny Face says, does it affect any major parts of your life? I think I've gotten a pretty solid grip on it at this point, even though sometimes when I do talk about it, like right now in big doses, I do twitch significantly more than I do any other time, with the exception of when I'm really tired. I twitch a lot. I'd say that my anxiety, it gets to me more than my Tourette syndrome does. At this point, my tics are just like these weird little things that I've had since I was 9 years old, and they're not as bad as they were when I was a kid, so it's not that big of a deal. Charity Rose said, what were your physical reactions to Tourette syndrome? My first twitch was this, and then this, throwing my head down, which I've actually started to manipulate since I was like 12 maybe, or 13. Instead of just throwing my head down, I'll just take the back of my head and just stretch it, and kind of the same relief, I guess. Doing this with my arms and then bending my legs, and yeah, and then over time other tics have shown up. I throw this in my YouTube videos now just as a way to kind of like, hey, it's just a part of who I am. So yeah, it's hard to explain exactly what all my tics are because we would be here all day, but I don't have nearly as many as I do when I was a kid, if that's helpful. Is Princess Brittany said, what do you wish people would say to you when you were having a bad day with Tourette? Man, I think my friends do this pretty well. I don't mean this in a rude way, but they don't say anything. They're just there. The presence of being there, because there's not always something that you can say in those moments. Like if I'm having a really bad day, there's not really anything that someone I think could specifically say that would like make me feel emotionally better in that moment. But just being there and knowing that I have them there, or if I need to kind of be by myself to play some soft music and go to sleep, that's nice. But yeah, or even like distracting me. My sister has done that since I was a kid. She's always distracted me. Like, you know, if I'm having a rough day and she knows it's like because of a certain conversation, then she'll try to talk about something else. And that's always really encouraging that she does that. So Daniel Misfit, I don't know how to say this yet, says, I saw the video about your mouthpiece and is there medication? So let's talk about the mouthpiece. So, well, before that, medication, I was kind of guinea pigged from ages 9 to 15, and then I went back on medication a little bit later in life, late teens, early 20s. I was going through a lot. And so, but I currently, I'm more of a vitamin kid and a mouthpiece kid. I think every person needs to talk to their doctor, about what will work for you specifically. I don't think that there is one cure-all for every person. You have to talk to your doctor, your neurologist, your family about what works best. There's a playlist called Jamie Grace and Tourette Syndrome, because I've been talking about this on YouTube for 11 years that you can check out in the description. And yeah, it like, or I think on the screen maybe too right now, there's like a bone in this general area, or a nerve in this general area. When it's compressed, you're likely to twitch more. When it's not compressed, you're likely to twitch less. That was a very poor explanation of an incredible explanation that you could have gotten if you watched the other video. So this is my mouthpiece, and I wear it, and I'm not doing this for camera. I legitimately have way less symptoms when I have it in my mouth, which I think I was way more anxious this whole video because I knew I was going to put it in my mouth when I got to the mouthpiece question. Like this, I feel really happy right now. This is great. So I don't take any medication. My average, I think 3 years ago is when I first got this, and I was averaging, I think, like 100 ticks for a 3-minute period, and we got me down to 7 ticks for a 3-minute period. So, I get it. It's going to be a little hard to understand me for the rest of this video, but if you want to learn something about Tourette syndrome, then you're going to have to learn how to accept something you can't control. So I'm going to have it in for the rest of this video because talking about it makes me twitch so much. Breezy J says, what do you say to strangers when they treat or look at you different or don't understand Tourette? So if I'm having a conversation and someone they don't understand it and they're being maybe curious or respectful about it, I love answering questions about Tourette syndrome because I think that, you know, I want to be able to help people understand it. And every person's experience is so different. And so the privilege of getting to share my experience, I mean, I can't trade that for the world. And so, yeah, so if I have the chance to explain it to them, I love it. But if they're being disrespectful or mocking me, laughing at me, taking videos or pictures, which that stuff has happened and still does happen, and it's not because I'm Jamie Grace. Sometimes people are genuinely taking video of my tics. I just ignore it because anxiety makes it worse, and I don't have time to be in a viral video like trying to like yell at somebody saying don't film me. I just have to pray for them and, you know, just hope that they don't do this. I don't know. I feel bad for people when their only source of entertainment or joy is when their source of joy is taking that joy from someone else. It's really sad. Okay, let's see. Has it gotten better as you've gotten older? Yeah, for sure. Definitely has. What was it like when your family found out you had Tourette? You know, they have shown a lot of grace and a lot of patience and love. And my mom, all my family, but, you know, a mom's love is there's a different dynamic of all family members. And my mom has done all the research in the world and, you know, knew so much about it. And when it came to supplements and diet and all of these things, like she and my dad were very intentional with doing everything that they could. And I was hospitalized some and mostly stuck in the house, just like on bed rest all the time because my tics would just wear my body down and fracturing some bones and things like that. And my dad would spend every, you know, night, and when I couldn't fall asleep, he would turn on jazz and dance with me or dance around my room like a silly person, like crazy person, until I fell asleep. And my mom actually painted our hallway blue because she said that she knew that I wasn't getting outside to see the sky, and so she wanted to bring the sky inside. And I was heavily medicated through middle and high school, and I would sometimes not sleep for 3, 4, 5 days at a time. And my parents would take turns staying up with me all night so that I wasn't by myself. And so, yeah, I mean, they were amazing. I was bullied a lot, and my sister has always stood by my side, has always defended me, has always protected me. And they're incredible. I couldn't have asked for a better family. Now, that doesn't mean that this has not come without challenge. That doesn't mean that this has not been overwhelming and painful and physically painful for my parents sometimes when I was having moments. But they've just shown a lot of grace, and they've made a lot of sacrifices to help me become who I am. So I'm really grateful that I have them, for sure. What has been the best gift that has come out of it? I think learning how to be more compassionate toward other people and learning how to understand other people. You know, I understand the kid that's left out. I understand the kid that's bullied, and I remember feeling left out and being bullied and wanting to be understood. And now I know that I do understand, and I get to reach out to that kid and say, I understand, because I've been there. That is an incredible privilege. And that was from the new BEC, or the new Beck. What's the most helpful or meaningful thing your parents have said or done for you? I kind of think I just probably answered that one. Logan says, it's a daily struggle. How do you manage it? Yeah, I mean, the mouthpiece is pretty significant. I take it out to sing, to work. So any, YouTube video, typically I take it out. Or to sleep, and to eat. So yeah, there's that. Also, I try, to manage my sleep and things like that, and to, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you stay up so late, but yeah, you don't know how late I'm sleeping in. Like, I have to get a certain amount of sleep to take care of myself, and sometimes I actually can't sleep because of the insomnia and everything, so it's not really my fault, but I just try to get a lot of sleep. I think I just fit a lot of rest, and, manage what I eat, and right now I do kickboxing, which this is like the first time in my life that I've been able to consistently go to, like, the last year and a half, 2 years, that I've been able to go to the gym and work out. It's still really hard for me because of the physicality of my tics. My joints and muscles are really sensitive, so I get injured really easily, and I'm a guitar player. I can't risk hurting my wrists, so it is kind of hard. I do have to take it at a slower pace, but that's been a blessing to get to go to the gym and stuff, because it feels really good to get that energy out. But I have to pace myself because I can't, if somebody swings their arm the wrong way, they might be like, ow, and I'm in a brace for 2 weeks. So there's that. And then, I need to start my camera over and start it back. This is a long video. I'm a little different.